One thing that all Christians need to have in this walk with Christ is wisdom. And many people don't know the difference between wisdom and knowledge, because we can have a whole bunch of knowledge as Christians. We can read the word all day, know about the word. We can go to school, learn about a whole bunch of things. But wisdom is actually applying those things that we are getting from whatever we're reading, whatever we're soaking in. Wisdom is applying that to our life so we can see fruits come in our life. And so the reason why it's so important to have wisdom is because even if you lose everything, even if you lose everything that you have, and God takes everything away from you, you will know exactly how to get back in the position you are in. And if you are struggling with something and you end up getting out of it, then you can actually help somebody else. So wisdom is not just for us, but it's also for other people. And that's why Solomon wrote the whole book of Proverbs, and he's able to help us today because he went through all the mistakes. He went through making a whole bunch of money and then blowing it, and then he also wrote Ecclesiastes and telling us the purpose of life and the meaning of life, because he tried everything. He went through all the girls, he got all the money, he did everything, and he learned from those mistakes. And so that's why it's important that you have wisdom so you can teach it to other people, and so that you can also live the life that God wants you to live, and you can make the best decisions in your life so that you can have the life that you want here on this earth. And that's why in this video, I'll be talking about the 5 ways that you can actually grow in wisdom so that you can apply it to your life and so that you can teach other people how to do it. And the first way to gain more wisdom is actually learning from your mistakes. And we've heard this from the world, but it's something that we must do in this walk with Christ. So if we sin or we fall into a certain sin, what we are supposed to do, we are not supposed to just sit there in our shame and guilt and then continue to try to resist every single time. So like, say if it's lust and we continue to keep going back over and over and over, we are not supposed to keep doing the same things that's leading us to that sin. We are supposed to find out what the root cause is and then put boundaries so we don't end up falling back into that sin. And that's part of the sanctification process. We are supposed to continue to get better each and every day, learn from our mistakes so we don't have to go back to that sin. Say we get angry in a moment and we burst out in anger. We are supposed to reflect on that moment and then learn from that moment so we don't do that again. That's the best way to gain more wisdom, because the best way to learn is what we go through in an everyday life. And so that's why it's important that you learn from your mistakes, because many times we just brush our mistakes in the past so we don't have to think about it. We don't have to fall in our shame and guilt. And so that's why it's important that but if we are to just, reflect on what we go through, reflect on the mistakes that we make, we'll have way more wisdom, and then we'll avoid doing it all over again. And that's what wisdom is, learning from your mistakes. And that actually brings me to 2, which is experience. In order to learn from your mistakes, you have to go out there and experience things. But if you are scared to make mistakes, then you will never be able to learn. You'll never be able to gain wisdom. And so if we procrastinate and we don't take action on a certain business, if we don't take action on getting a certain job, or even pursuing certain relationships, or just doing something out of our comfort zone, then we will never be able to learn from our mistakes. And so we can't be scared to make mistakes. We can't just ask God, should I be doing this? God, should I be getting this job? And be scared to make certain mistakes. If God always picked exactly what we need to do, then we'll never be able to gain wisdom for ourselves. So it's actually a blessing that we don't know 100% of the time what we should be doing, because mistakes are actually lessons for us. Mistakes are actually better for us. The more mistakes that you actually make and that you learn from, the more wisdom that you have, and the more that you can actually be successful in everyday life, and even in this walk with Christ. So anytime that you make a mistake, make sure that you are reflecting. And if you want to gain more wisdom, make sure that you are trying new things, experiencing new things, whether it's a job, whether it's a business, whether it's starting social media, whether it's a new sport, whether it's a new relationship. No matter what it is, try new experiences, because the more experience that you have, the more wisdom that you're going to have. Think about someone with a job. The longer you're there, the more wisdom you have, the more you know how to do things around the job. So just experience things and start doing more things so that you can gain more wisdom. And that actually brings me to step number 3, which is reading books. And I'm not just saying, the Bible. Yes, the Bible is very important. If you want to gain more wisdom, I would say start with Proverbs if you want to get more wisdom. But it's important that you learn from other people, because other people made mistakes, and you can learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't have to make that mistake. And so if you find the right book, the book that will teach you how to get where you want to be in life, or teach you how to have a relationship with Christ, or just anything, how to read the Bible, whatever it is, if you read those books, it doesn't even have to be just a paper book. It could be an audio book that you just listen to in the car or wherever you're going. So if you do that, if you learn from other people's mistakes, you won't have to make that mistake. And that's how you can gain more wisdom. That's how you can learn from other people. And that's how you can avoid certain mistakes so that you can get fast tracked to where you want to go. Because you can do it on your own. Yes, you can do it the first 2 steps and just gain wisdom like that. Learning from your mistakes, going out there and trying different things, and then failing, and then continuing to make mistakes until you finally succeed in whatever you want to do. But it's better that if you just listen to what other people have done, their experience, and what they said to avoid. If you listen to what they do and they're already successful and you want to be in their shoes, then that's how you can get there faster. If you want to be successful, if you want to be strong in your walk with Christ, and someone else is strong in your walk with Christ, you could listen to their advice. If they're saying set certain boundaries, then you should listen to their boundaries. If they're saying to stay away from certain people or stay away from certain things, you can listen to them and be in their shoes faster and mature faster than what they did, because they tried to do it on their own. And so that's why it's important that you listen to other people, that you let go of your pride and humble yourself and start to learn from other people, because that's the most important part of wisdom, is humility, realizing that you don't know nothing and that there's tons of opportunity to learn. And once you do that, that's when you will start reading more books, and that's when you'll be hungry for wisdom. The word tells us to be hungry for wisdom like silver or gold. So be hungry for wisdom, read books, go out there and educate yourself, because that's exactly how you will gain wisdom. Number four is community. You need to have a community of, first off, believers, community of people who you want to be around. So if your circle is just people who, are lazy and don't really want to do anything in their life, and yet you want to hang out with them majority of the time, then you're most likely going to be like them. You need people who are going to motivate you to be better, be your better self, be more like Christ, and just continue to motivate you. So even if you do mess up, even if you are slacking, they can motivate you to stop slacking. And so when you have that community of people that will build you up and also give you wisdom, tell you certain things in certain situations, you can ask advice to them. You can ask them for advice, and they can help you with a particular moment. And so that's why it's important that you surround yourself with people who will build you up, and not people who are just there to keep you distracted from your calling. And that's also for mentors. Anything that you want to do, there's someone that probably has already did it. History repeats itself. So you need to find that person who is doing what you want to do so that you can learn from them. And that's how you can gain more wisdom, because they will actually tell you that, not just from a book, but they can actually look at your situation and see if they can relate to it, and then tell you advice on how to get to your destination, get to your goal, or get you to where you want to be. And so that's why it's important that you find a mentor, find a book that you want to read, and just find people around you that's going to motivate you and build you up. And the last step, I put this last every single time, because you need to apply the rest of these things to your life in order to actually do this. But you can actually do this first as well, which is pray. You need to pray and ask God for wisdom, because it says in James chapter 1, verse 5 through 8, it says, if you ask God for wisdom, he is willing to give it to you. He will give it to you cheerfully, as long as you ask for him. And I'm not just saying that you go out there and just pray, ask God for wisdom. He's just going to plant wisdom in your head. You're just going to know everything. No, if you ask for wisdom, God is going to put you through experiences. God is going to tell you to read certain books. He's going to put people around you that's going to give you wisdom. And so if you ask for wisdom, just be prepared for that. Because think about Solomon. Solomon had to go through, falling into sin. He had to go through so much things in order to learn what he actually knew and how to be a good king. And so, yes, God said, if you want anything, I will grant it unto you. And he asked for wisdom, but he still had to go through so much experience. And when Solomon asked for wisdom, he didn't just ask for wisdom, he asked for an understanding heart for a particular moment. And so that's what we need to do. We don't just ask God for wisdom and just expect him just to give us everything. You need to ask for wisdom for a specific moment in your life. Say you want to learn how to get a job, you want to learn how to start a business, you want to learn how to have a good relationship. Ask for wisdom in certain areas of your life. And when you do that, that's when God will start to put you through experiences. He'll start to open up new doors. He'll start to give you books, give you people around you just to mentor you. And doors will just start to open in your life. But you don't underestimate the power of prayer. Because once you pray, your prayers, I promise you though, get answered, because it happened to me. Every single time I pray for a particular moment, I pray for wisdom for a particular moment, God helps me. He sends someone into my life. He puts me through a certain experience so I can learn from it. That's what you will experience if you continue to pray and put your faith in that prayer. Really expect that God is going to answer that prayer. And then that's when it will start to come to life. So make sure that you apply these 5 things in your life, because wisdom is the most important thing that you can have in this walk with Christ. But if you are not willing to put in the work, then you are not going to be able to get wisdom. Hard work, as Solomon says in Proverbs, hard work is what is going to get. The diligent will rule, while the slothful will work forced labor. So make sure that you are working hard, seeking for seeking for wisdom like silver or gold. And then that's when you will get the wisdom that God wants for you. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it edified you. And I hope that you apply these 5 things in your life so that you can gain more wisdom. But I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate all the support. If you do want to support, the link is down below. But if not, it's cool. I do want to give a shout out to the biggest supporters who's actually been helping me a whole bunch. And I don't take any of y'all's support for granted. And so I do want to just give a big shout out to y'all. I do appreciate every last one of donation that there is, but these are just the biggest ones. So we got Taylor, which is actually the highest donator. So right now we got Silder Rubio, and then we have Tyrone, which is my top 3 biggest supporters. And I do appreciate every last one of y'all, every last donation that y'all giving me, whether that be with $1 or whatever you have. I do appreciate every last donation. I don't take it for granted. Oh, and also I almost forgot to mention, this is my biggest supporter. Shout out to the person who actually got me this camera that I'm using right now. I don't even have to use my phone. I used to be recording on this, which is the crazy part, but he actually gave me a full-on camera, didn't have to pay a thing, and that was one of the biggest things that helped me and supported me. So appreciate you. If it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't even have my vlog channel. I do got my vlog channel down below, but I do appreciate you and all the support that you're giving me. So, but I do also just appreciate every last one of y'all for watching. So y'all don't know how much of a blessing y'all been to me. And so I just wanted to be able to say this with a message. I can't, message y'all back or anything, just to show y'all appreciation. So I put it in the video. And if y'all seeing this, I do appreciate the donation that you're giving me. So I thank y'all. We got big things coming. And so I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, as usual, y'all stay blessed.